All right. This week on Jerkin Around.
Talk about Bob's lovely celebration of
life. Teisha's
parenting.
Shameless. Have you seen that show? It's so bad.
No.
Way bad.
It was like really good at first, and then I was like, I feel less than after watching this. When the kid's doing drugs, I'm all, oh, he's doing crack. It's not okay.
Oh,
like
no.
it
I can't
turns.
watch that stuff.
It's very dark.
No,
you wouldn't like it. I couldn't
dark
finish
stuff.
it.
It's weird.
Very, very raunchy.
Did I blame anybody start that?
No.
I finished
no
it.
one started that.
I finished it.
No, but I started reading The Bright Young Woman. Have you heard of that book? It's about the Ted Bundy murders. When he broke into that sorority house and killed those girls. Yeah.
Why would you read that?
I just had to stop. It was so awful.
I can't.
Oh, it's awful.
I know. Why would you read that?
I don't know. Stupid.
Or Paris.
You already worried.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get on the Paris Hilton
I
train.
need to listen. I forgot about the book. Yeah. All right. So follow along.
Listen
it's so
up.
hot in here.
Is it? Do I say anything?
Oh my God, we're just being normal.
Oh, jerking around.
Do you want to get your headphones?
Crystal takes her shirt off. Stick around. Should we say it at the same time?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Jerkin Around.
A podcast with Teisha and Crystal. So you were at the assembly this morning.
Yeah.
She was texting me pictures.
I was so moved.
Cancer?
So 2 students and a staff member.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we had an assembly at Liberty High School.
Yeah.
And 3 assemblies. And so they just do so many things that are so great. They really do. Like
very community oriented.
Very good people orientated. Very just everything. So in the middle of the assembly, they had barbers too. They were like sassy barbers.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like,
not just like a random.
Yeah, they had like these cool things set up, and they had like their tongues out of their shoe. Do you know what I mean? Like, like high top, big tongues. Yeah. I was all. That's why I was all maybe.
Yeah.
You know, like Paige. You know.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Kyle loves Paige's like.
Kyle loves an edgy look.
Yeah. I was. Yeah. So
okay, we'll get to that.
So, anyways, their whole thing. I noticed that all the teachers were wearing no lion fights alone, and I knew that there was some people with cancer because they've been doing fundraisers for him. And then I saw a few kids with the shaved head, and I was like, oh, I was like sick about it. And I was like, these are some of the kids that have cancer right now. There's 2 kids in particular I saw, and then the staff member I know, that's been a big thing. So then all of a sudden they start saying, okay, we have 5 seats of anyone that wants to shave their head. And the lunch lady, she's like older. She shaved her head.
Yeah, the front office lady.
Yeah, like it was like you couldn't believe it. All the admin shaved their heads. The principal shaved his son's head, and he's like a basketball player with the look. And he was the first player to like shave his head. And he's all, shave my son's head,
Yeah.
Then all these people are coming from the stands and going to sit. It gives me the chills. Just random kids to go sit and get their head shaved.
I love
and they're just shaving him. And then the people with cancer are crying. And they kept saying, no lion fights alone. We're in this together. And they're raising money.
Yeah.
So it's on social media to raise money. They want to raise $10,000 for their families. And it was just like so cool. So there's three assemblies, and each assembly at least 5 people did it. But what was cool, a lot of the athletes were doing it. A lot of the Sugo kids, that like the hair is like the big thing. That whole hair.
Especially the younger classes, they all got the hair. It's like a whole thing.
But it wasn't like it was a cool thing. Like, cause you could, like, just from the outside, like even when I thought about it for a second, it's a very like selfless thing to do. Like your hair is your thing, especially if you have the do, like the do.
Yeah. It takes a long time.
Yes. Yeah. And then when they did it, you could tell they were just like, what did I do? Like, I look stupid now. But they were like, oh, well, it's for you. Like, it was so cool. It was so cool. So many people were crying. Like, we were all crying. Everybody was crying. It was just such a good example of what to teach kids young, because I feel like our society, we forget. It's a very selfie-centered society. It's very me. Like, what's in it for me?
Well,
what about me?
especially high school, it's like an insecure time.
Yes.
You're not like the most confident. It's like everyone, even the most confident kids are still a little insecure, So it's
And it was every type of kid. I do feel like it's like that at Liberty, and maybe that's my observation from behind the scenes, but I don't feel like it's as... I mean, obviously there's the athletes and the this and the that, but I feel like there's a lot of mixing too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like everybody cares what you're doing or what you're into. Like
they're very accepting.
Of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a very motivated vibe. Like even if you're a photographer, like cool, be the best photographer.
Yeah.
If you're in drama, be the best in drama. But it's very like do something. Like there's a vibe of like doers.
Yeah.
But it's not like who cares what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like do, but without judgment.
Yes.
Like everyone just find
Do your thing. Do you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very do you. It was just so cool. But at Liberty yesterday, I think it's public news, but there was a parent that was upset and went and talked to I don't know if it was admin or teacher after school. Well, that didn't go well. So then the parent said, I'm going to go home and get my gun and I'm going to be back. So then they had to be on like shelter in place. And the parent came back with a gun. What? But the cops were there because they called the cops. The parents came back with the gun.
I just don't think, what are you going to do?
And then they got arrested.
It's like you're not well. If you're thinking that.
No, and like now
weird.
everybody loses. And if you were standing up for your kid, now you have these charges.
And
like
you
it
have
sucks.
no like.
Yeah.
Like, no one's taking you serious or hearing you when you have a gun. You just look crazy.
And you just made your
And your kid. I know.
Yeah.
So
and like
sad
that
for your
really
kid.
sucks for the kid now.
So sad for
And
the
it sucks for teachers and admin that this is even a thing you have to worry about.
Right.
It's just crazy. But one of the things I'm really obsessed with right now that I can't get over is the Preston Lord thing. Have you guys seen it? The kid that got jumped
The
randomly.
Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah, the Gilbert goons. Goons.
Yeah.
And he got jumped randomly. Like the party got broken up by the cops. All the kids ran. He was an honor student that just happened to be at the back. And they just jumped him and killed him because of the injuries. Yeah. And then no one has been arrested. It happened in October. Well, I guess some people have been arrested, but charges haven't been filed or something.
Very recently arrested. Like,
Yeah, and then they, the parents flew the kids out of the country, so they can't get them because they're rich. Isn't this crazy? Let me
The
get this
Gilbert
real quick.
goons?
Yes. So that's why some of the arrests haven't been made because they're in Argentina and stuff.
Yeah.
Places where they can't like come get them. So it's like crazy what's going on though. So they own like a few businesses.
Yeah.
And they have the means. But it's weird like how much they're getting away. It seems like they're paying off the cops. That's like the vibe.
The goons are?
The goons' parents.
some of the parents that were.
They're big deals in Gilbert. Like
Really?
our friend knows of the family.
Gotcha.
And she's like, they're big deals.
Oh.
So that's what's really weird is this has been going on for so long. And then the kid that got beat up at In-N-Out Burger and was in the hospital, his dad has them living in Spain with the mom because it's not safe here because he told on them. So they almost killed him. Isn't that nuts?
This is
Rich, like you
wild.
should see their cars. They're all like,
They have too much time on their hands and they think they're big deals.
oh yeah. So anyways,
struggle.
this kid that got beat up at In-N-Out Burger, he's living in Spain. The dad's devastated, like my kid's in Spain. And they closed the case and they have video of who it was. And they closed the case. How do you close a case? So now, since all the bad publicity, they opened the case and arrested the people.
That's what I say. Can't the dad like hire an attorney and...
Oh, he's been trying. You don't understand the power and money.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's so weird.
There's
'cause I
all
feel
these
like that goes on. Like in this...
small.
Yeah.
That's what's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Is something in a small, like Gilbert's a great community too.
Yeah.
But that's part of it is they're a great community. So Preston's family is very involved in the community. So they're starting this huge like uproar.
Yeah.
Yes, movement against the other. So it's like two sides. But they were like snitches get stitches. So everyone's been scared to speak up against them.
And it's very divisive. Like I just read an article that they put up a bunch of orange ribbons all over the community, like in honor of Preston, and the HOA took them all down.
Yes. It's like so bad.
So divided.
So like the HOAs like in
Because it's
support
money
of-
and power. Everyone wants to hush it down.
Like make it quiet.
That's
Yes,
so... It
it's
seems like
crazy.
something out of a movie.
Oh, it is, and it's in
really
Gilbert,
is.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Like
that's
Gilbert.
crazy.
And like Gilbert's one of my favorite neighborhoods. If I were to
too.
not live here,
Me too, I
that's
love
what some of the people that I follow, they're like, Gilbert's great. It's just the goons.
Yeah.
But it's crazy they've
What
been
a
getting...
dumb name too.
I know.
Like you sound dumb.
You sound
Yeah,
like,
like,
a kid.
ooh,
Yeah, like Goonie. You know, like it's stupid. I'm like,
Yeah.
the Gilbert Moons. You know,
Yeah.
moon people when you're...
yeah, the Gilbert Goobers. You know, like it's stupid.
But random
I'm all,
attacks.
but don't put this on the air because they're gonna get me. So I'm scared.
The random attacks are sad though. Random.
Oh, it's awful. I would just freak out.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And he's innocent, honors kid, great kid, great kid.
Yeah, it was-
Just wrong place, wrong time. And the kids ran and were doing CPR on him and everything to try to save his life. But I think they did donate his organs. Like they got him to the hospital on life
that's sad.
support. It's awful. I'm sick about it. I like in injustice like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dana was asking, I didn't get to talk to you about the funeral since we've been crying a lot about my dad. It was really good. It was like, I was really dreading it the night before and the leading up, like really dreading it more than I've dreaded a lot of things. I can't explain it. It's just like, I don't know. There's so many weird things in your head.
Yeah.
Like denial and I don't know. Just like there's a lot of pressure.
Want the closure.
Yeah, the closure. Mm-hmm. And now that it's happened, I understand what they mean by the closure. It's a different, I wouldn't say, like it's a different way to use the word. Like after I was like, okay, I understand what they're saying. But it's just a lot of pressure to like send someone off the right way. Like to summarize someone's life in an hour.
Yeah.
To say the impact they've had on the world in 2 minutes is what we each had to speak. I don't know. There's just a lot of like, am I doing him justice? Am I like, I don't know. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I feel like it was really positive, and I feel like a lot of people took a lot from it. I took a lot from it even. Like hearing things like stories from my brother, all of us, like rethinking the things that matter. But I was just telling Teisha yesterday, it's so crazy when you're focused on eternal things, how much you're focused on what really matters in life. So I was just telling JT when he came by to drop off a gift from Moving Team 6. We love them, so plug them here while we can. Them and Skims. But we don't love Kim that much. I just like her product.
No.
But anyways, he was asking about the cruise for Christmas, and I was telling him that I did gamble on the cruise, and it was 7 days, which is excessive. But when you're not worried about things, like it was a bad recipe of like losing my dad, being with my mom and my brother, who I love so much, spending this quality time in the casino. It was like money, shmoney. And then you get off the ship and you're like,
wait, real life,
what the heck just happened? That was so stupid. But I think a lot of things just feel stupid. But it's kind of nice. Like I told Teisha again, it's like you're just like very focused on what matters, but you realize how much noise is in your day. Like, there's so many emails I need to get back to. And I am still doing real estate. I didn't quit again.
No.
We had a talk yesterday. Yeah. It's not the right thing, blah,
Not right now.
Yeah, but like it's
not
just hard to
make
focus.
Such a drastic
yes.
change.
Yeah, they say for a year don't make a big change. I was about to like really do it. I was like, that's it. We're selling the house.
Yeah, I was all, you know.
Hang on.
Yeah. I was like, small house.
I'm all like in front of the for sale sign, like, no, it's
Have
not.
you seen Father of the Bride? When he sells his house?
Yeah.
No, George! And he's like in front of the crane. Like, no, I was selling the house. I was going to stay home with the kids and like just be present because that's what matters. But Teisha helped remind me.
Well, the kids aren't home. So you're staying home and they're gone. Like all day and night, all their things.
Well, yes. And when I have time on my hands, sometimes some things happen.
Well, I said supporting.
I make up weird things.
Being with your kids as they're older and busier, it just looks different than when they're little. Totally. It's not sitting at home all day.
Taking care of them.
Yes. Yeah, it's like supporting them in their things. It's like just different. Totally. So I said, you're doing that. We're just without the staying home.
But so I decided not to quit again. But I forgot. The present. It's just weird. Yeah. But the funeral was really great. Like it was just.
It was really good.
It was very like positive. I felt like.
What I really liked, which I already knew about Bob because I've known him forever, but what I really like about his life and his impact is like it was so great on his family and even the people around him, but it was so humble. He wasn't someone who was this big
success
talker,
story
or talker.
I mean, he was successful. That's right.
Yes, no, but I'm saying he was just in his day-to-day habits and in his life and the way he lived. It was that was his testimony and his example, and it was so impactful because he wasn't showy or. He never was boastful, very humble and just doing obedience to God. I very much feel like he was very Kyle was talking about how his impact, just him writing his check every week or every month to the church, tithing. He wasn't going out in the street talking to everyone about tithing all the time, but he was just living it. And so it was so powerful. And it was such a, I was really motivated by it, but not because of what Bob said to everybody, but who he was.
Or what he accomplished. He didn't start a church.
No.
Or he didn't have he had the same Bible study for 25 years with the same 5 guys, and they went every Wednesday, but you would never know that. He didn't tell everybody about his Bible study.
Right.
You know, I was like,
And
at
no, like,
small group at my house this week. We do it every week. You know, we host a small group. It wasn't like that.
He did not need the accolades of living like a faithful life. He just lived it, and it was like so impactful when you heard like the impact it had on his kids and his grandkids, and then like everyone that knew him, you know, just like obviously like direct family spoke at the thing, but just like everyone that knew him, like he never talked to me about doing any of the things, but the example he set to me, you know, was so great.
True person who led by example.
Yes. He's not a speaker. He's not a talker, which is so cool.
And didn't need the like accolades of being a good person or a Christian, because I feel like sometimes it's like on social media, it's all like the Christian people, which is great. I love the talking about the God and the Christian, but like sometimes that is like very off-putting to people that aren't Christian, because they're like, oh, well, I'm not doing that. So like when you're so Christian, it almost like gives this vibe that you're such a great person, and like that is like off-putting to people who are maybe struggling or just normal people that want to be Christians but they feel not good enough. I don't think Bob ever made anyone not feel good enough, but he was better than all of those people. But he like didn't act like it. He just was like just a good person and just a faithful person and obedient, and like lived a life of example, and it was like so powerful.
And
you know,
had his priorities straight.
Yes,
he very much had his priorities straight.
Totally. And like it was like the cutest, like the stories that Jordan spoke her nephew, and it was like so, and it was like he had such an impact on him, and it's like it was just so cool. It was so good.
I've had people ask for the Zoom link, like to show their family. It's been really cool.
It was so
like
good.
So many people are like, hey, can I have that? I want to show my family. Like it was just like, you don't think you're doing that for that. And like,
your mom said like he never wanted a party, so she was excited to like have a big turnout for him, because that's who he was. He was like the background guy. And so
very background guy.
And so it was cool because he did get to have that like.
She keeps saying he had such a good party. He had a big party.
Yeah, he
had
did.
his first big party.
It's so cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it totally was. It was like that, such a great feeling, you know?
That's cool.
It's crazy too when that happens. Like, I was gonna do so good not crying today, but you like flash forward like through your life on all the key moments, and like seeing who showed up, and like all these people that had influential parts in my life at different times. But when you're raising kids, you just don't have time for them, you know, and you're just moved on. But when you go through your life when he's gone, all these highlights pop, and they're not the highlights that you would think would highlight. Like, it's just crazy, the things and the moments and the people and the memories. Like, there's key parts in my life, like my youth group going up. We are very, very close. I'm still best friends with half of them, but like everybody showed up from our youth group and their parents, and Tom, who married us and who made this big impact in my life, he flew in, and you like remember like that's where I'm at right now with my kids. So like if something happened to Kyle in 20 years, would Kendall show up?
Yeah.
Like you just don't realize that these moments right now are determining your kid's future.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy the magnitude of that. And like all the things about my dad that I remember now, because we had our bumps. We were partners in real estate, and that took a turn, and that was so hard for me. It was when I went to counseling after that, because it was such a hard time in my life. And it's like amazing, but also scary. If I could tell anyone, if you're having drama with your family or friends, thank goodness we didn't have this happen when we were on a down, because all that you remember is the good. And I don't know if you have that with your mom. I've thought about that. I didn't mean to put you on blast here, but I think about that, like, because for me, all I'm remembering is the good and like the power of like the things he taught me, or the moments that mattered.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other crap just fades away. And I'm like, I wondered if that happened to you, if that messes with you at all.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that like changes, you know?
No, I think ours was so different though.
Yeah.
And like
he was like in my life forever.
Yeah, and I feel
consistently good.
I do have a lot of good, but then I also have some bad.
Like it's still.
Yeah, it's just different. And like, but I know what you're talking about. Like
it fades.
It's like giving birth. You don't remember.
Yeah, like the feeling. You don't remember the feeling of the pain or whatever.
Which is good, because and like I do think I do remember good things, but I feel like
you've always though. It's not like you didn't.
Yeah, it's different too. I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, it's a different relationship
Yeah.
for sure. I just wondered that. I was like, I wonder if that's hard, if that happened to you at all.
No, but I do feel like maybe I should have just,
Really?
maybe I should have sucked it up and just been like, who cares about all that? And like, I don't know. I wonder if it would be different. I don't know.
It's hard. It's such a final, even though he's in heaven, that's really hard for me. It's very hard for me to like, in the beginning, I could do it a little better than I'm able to do it now. Like, I mean, this is perfect for the podcast, I guess. So in my dress, like you could see my underwear marks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't wear these. And there was the Skims, but I could still see them. So I took them off. And I was like, go no underwear. Sorry, Dad. Like I could do that, but like, I can't like be quiet in it.
Yeah.
Like, and talk to him.
No, yeah.
It's just hard. I don't know. It's just still like, the denial is so big. But I think that's just God's protection.
Yeah.
Like I know it happened, but I'm not like sitting in it.
Yeah.
You know, and when I saw the urn, I lost it. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that? Why is that? Like
So
it's still like
more tangible.
yeah, like seeing that and knowing what that means. That was super weird. But I don't know, the legacy word is just in my head so big. And like, I think what you're saying is my greatest legacy is the people, like is me and Justin and Jordan. And like what my dad, and he wasn't perfect. He had a lot of hardships in his early life. And I don't care if we share, I guess, a marriage that didn't go well. And kids that, you know, their relationship is hard. But I think he learned from what happened and got better. And that's all you can do is get better. But what's crazy is I had a hard day at cheer. I feel like most days coaching are hard. It's like parenting. You're wondering every day if you're doing it right. And I already wonder that a lot with parenting. But I was thinking about it today and I was like, was it too hard on him? Like, da-da-da. And I thought about everything my people said about my dad, especially my brother and I, was how hard he was on us. Like, that was our greatest accomplishment, is that my dad was tough. And he did not baby us. And he, like, at his funeral, that's the things we're saying. We're not saying I did say he loved me unconditionally, but he wasn't easy on me ever. Ever. He never.
Well, loving is not being easy. Like people confuse that. I think, you know?
And that's what stood out to another story Justin wanted to tell, but he thought it might be like frowned upon, was this kid was making fun of my brother in junior high, and my dad walked him over to the park where the kid was and made him punch him. And it was like this whole thing. You're going to be a man and you're going to stand up for yourself. And Justin, they had to like drive back twice. I think you might have hit him a little, like you're hitting him or I'm hitting you. You know, like it was hard love. And my brother said that day was so influential for me. Like it made me learn what a man is. Yeah. And he's like, but I didn't want to say it's encouraging at a funeral to beat another kid up.
Well, it's like a weird time now too. It's all like no violence. But like back in the day, that was like totally normal.
But that's what stood out. Yeah. Like, and like all the things that stood out are his toughness. We all talked about how tough he is. And not like how much he, like, again, took us on trips, like you said. Yeah. It wasn't about what he did for us. It's about what he did in me.
Yeah. I told her about Julia in the video.
You talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, we did? Oh, shoot.
Yeah. You can say it again, though, because you said it again to me and it sunk in even more.
Did it?
Yeah, we can talk about the mom guilt, because I think the mom guilt's a thing for everybody.
I just like...
I have it, I'm sure.
Julia's like so busy.
Yeah.
She's like not someone
This is when I was quitting.
I would never be... Yeah, I told her this the other day. I'm like, Julia's not like someone I'd be like... She's like not the mom that's dropping everything to be with at her kids' beck and call or whatever. She's like got her own stuff going on. She coaches 2 like super successful competitive teams, club and college. Yeah. So like... For her,
and runs a volleyball club.
And runs 2 businesses.
And a gym.
And is an assistant coach on 2 other teams.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like the busiest person ever. And like her, and like it was cool because her video and like all her kids were like, the message so clear when you watch it back was like, she's a very present mom and she very much believes in her kids and supports them. And they all like, I told Crystal, I'm like, she's not like not planning fun things. She plans so many fun things. And like none of them said, my favorite memory with my mom is the $1 million beach vacation. They were all like, when she watches me at my games, when she says I can do anything. It was like, and it's so cool because you don't have to be like not hard on your kids or be, oh, every little thing. Like that's not love. Like there's no lacking for them. They very much feel a very present, loved mom, but she's still busy. Yeah. You know? So I told Crystal, I'm like, it doesn't, like, you don't have to be waiting at home for when they get home at 3:30
I was thinking that's what I should
But you know what I mean? Like, not at all. I'm like, Julia's the busiest person ever. And like, her kids 100% feel that they have a stay-at-home mom supporting them, you know? Yep. So
it's like the consistency and showing up.
In the little things.
In the little things.
Yes.
And the support and encouragement. Like, because they're challenged to understand that it's hard.
Yes.
Feel like, oh, I can't do this, but my mom said I could.
Right.
They're not challenged.
And I do love that about Julia too, is she never has like, I'm sure she has it inside, guilt about not maybe being busy.
Yeah.
But
she
like,
didn't come across that way.
No, but she could, who knows?
Yeah.
But like, she never says it to me. But like, I think it's cool that she doesn't like, she doesn't like, and she doesn't like make her parenting like based off of her own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's value based.
Yeah, and it's like she's doing what's best for them, not what makes her feel better. Like it would be easy, like when you're home, to be like, oh, let's blow off all of our blah blah and just do this. And it's like, no, she's still teaching lessons and hard on them and making them do their, you know what I mean? It's so cool because
I feel like that comes from her confidence because she's not insecure about how she's appearing as a mom. Or
She doesn't care about that. Yeah,
so she's like,
because she knows she's a good mom.
Yeah,
let's get her on the pod.
Yeah, I know.
We really should, because I would love to ask her some of these questions.
That would be such a good one.
Yeah,
because she's so intriguing to me.
She is intriguing to me too.
Because she balances so much.
I know, exactly like that.
I love that about her though. Oh, her video is so good. You should watch it. I cried like 5 times. Like, is this your 40th birthday video? I just love her so much. And then when Jeff saw, I choose you. I choose you too, Julia. Like, it was like so like, this is.
But she's not schmucking around with Jeff either.
No.
You know, he's like chasing. Like, it's not like.
It's so cute.
You know, waiting at home.
No, but she's just like, I just don't know someone who balances so much and does it so good.
Gracefully.
So and she's like always calm and composed. I'm like, that's son, you know, like I'm like screaming at my kids. She's so
That's the thing that I feel guilty about. It's not so much the busy, it's that my mind is spinning.
Yeah.
And that's something maybe I can control, like with saying no to things, but like I don't feel like I'm present when they're in the car.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of all the things. Or present like when they need me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I hate this. They'll be like, something comes up and they'll be like, I'll be like, well, where's your shoes? And they'll be like, well, I asked you 3 times to get me shoes before today, but I don't think you were listening. And I want to be like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's like a dagger to the heart.
But sometimes they're asking me for weird things all the time.
Put your phone down, and I was all, you know?
Yeah.
And it like, you're like, oh crap.
That's the hard stuff.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed, I'm like, she's my sister, so I can do
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about it's all the new podcast, the Jerkin Around with Julia. Like, it's like obsessed.
I know.
I know.
How are we going to get time to get her on?
I know.
I'll nail her.
Yes.
Emma, it's
yes. We got it.
Let's really get her on.
Yeah, and let's write down questions.
Yeah.
Because I have a few.
Oh, totally.
I want to know where she got that outfit she wore the other night with that backless. I dream about it.
She has the best style.
She does.
Both of you guys have great style.
Yeah, you both do.
Handed down her stuff.
Oh.
She had those high tops on the other day, and I was all.
Oh, I know. Like, she comes from volleyball all day, and I'm all, hey. Like, it's so cute.
She had these high. I was like, oh, my
Her
high
body
tops.
is, like, the best.
So annoyingly good. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's not like a weirdo.
No.
Like obsessed with her body or obsessed with what she eats.
Balances everything so well.
Yeah, that's like Julia's word, balance.
Balance, yes.
My word is like spaz girl.
No.
Ben loves spaz girl.
Ben thinks, like, did I tell you I was, like, in the shower, and I hear him laughing, and I'm like, what? I'm like, poke my head, and I'm like, is someone in there? I'm like, what's so funny? He's all, oh, just thinking about Crystal spaz girl. Like, I'm like, really? Like, it's so weird.
I told him how they called me that in high school. It really hurt my
He
feelings.
thought it was so funny.
Because it's kind of true. But what were you saying? You were saying something so
we cut you
good.
off.
Yeah, just her kids are so loyal to each other too. Like that's something that I think they do a really good job. Whatever it is they do, like as I have 4 of them when you guys were in Turks and Caicos, and they just take care of each other.
Yeah.
And look out for each other. It's like the coolest.
I love that. How does she do that? Write that down.
I know mine
are all, this is my straightener.
And I'm sure they have those moments, but like when they're
gone.
their element,
Yeah.
It was like we protect our own.
I
Yeah.
love
It
that.
sound like my house wasn't threatening, but you know.
Yeah, I'm all, when you were beating one of them,
I
no.
was like, get in your
Yeah,
bed.
like
My mom
locking him in a dark closet. The other kids wouldn't let me. No.
Yeah. That's cute. I hope they get that.
It's really cool to watch.
I feel like your kids do that. Mine are like punching each other. It's not.
No, I think when you're gone though, it is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is because I've had years when you're gone and it's not like that. They're not fighting at all. And they're very protective. All of them a fox.
Nasty to the boys.
She's not like that when you're not around. She's not at all.
She's bossy. I'm like,
I don't know where she gets it.
To her. She's mean.
I think parenting's hard at times.
Yeah.
And you wonder, I had a few people talk to me about what we said last week about how we like have blinders on and sometimes things come up and then I think we go the other way, like a lot, maybe some of us, you know, like worried. I don't know. There's just all the things like, are they getting this? Are they getting that? Because you don't always know who they are when you're not around, you know? It's just like,
and
hard
they
to
act
know.
different in different scenarios.
Scenarios, yeah.
You know, like.
And they're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't, it's an impossible thing to change.
Totally. Like.
It's so hard.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, Ken got in big trouble. And like, I never would have thought that like that would have happened ever. If someone would have been like, oh, she's gonna act like this, I'd be like, no. And then I was like, oh my gosh, you know? So it was definitely like, there was some light beating and throwing in the pool at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. She jumped. It was a cold plunge.
It was a cold plunge. It was like you're getting thrown in, so she just jumped in.
She's like, I'm taking control of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's just hard. The kids thing is hard. Raising them, knowing what they're doing, and knowing like this teenage thing. You warned me about it, about CJ. Like it's just they're quiet about weird things. Like Maddie, I'm like, Lou, what's going on? What's going on in your head? You know, what are you thinking about? What's going? I like don't know. You don't know because all you know is who they are at home. And for our kids, I mean, my kids aren't home that much. They're gone at school, then at sports. They're home like an hour, and they're dead tired. So you don't always know like what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what's comforting to me though is like when you see like older people. Like I can't remember if it was Ashley or somebody, but I think it was Ashley, our pastor at church. He was like telling about when he was a kid, and he was like, I was always in trouble.
Oh, me too.
And like you, and like. Kids are just weird. Yeah. And like, oh, this is what it was. Okay, so in Julia's video, they tell the story. Everyone had to say, back to Julia. I'm all, back to Julia. Like, it's like
it's getting weird.
They all had to tell
I always send her like stalking pictures of me.
It had to be there, like the Kim Kardashian one.
She's like the one that won't change around me like you. She's thinking I'm looking. I am looking.
No, like her so everyone had to say their favorite memory. And so Dana's memory was when they stole the car. And like they didn't want to turn it on the driveway, so they put in neutral and they were pushing it out of the driveway. But like they stole a car.
Oh, I stole a car.
But and me and my friend, I won't say her name.
Why wouldn't you say her name?
Well, she might not want it. We stole her mom's car and went joyriding at 14.
Yeah, so did I.
And yeah, you and Jen.
Yeah, and
so,
then
And so like thinking if my kid did that, I would freak out. Like I would rage. But like hearing that these good kids and Julia's
oh my gosh.
like,
Bonnie went streaking in high school, like down the field, naked.
Yeah.
And then they went to some girl's house and beat her up. Like Bonnie was naughty, like so bad.
Yeah.
They painted the football field. It's great.
So when I hear stories of like I'm like, oh, Julia stole a car. Like she's not like a troubled teen, you know, but like I'd be all, you're troubled to my kids. Like if they were doing that, I'd be sending them off to Paris Hilton's boarding school. No, I'm just kidding.
I've listened to that.
You were always so straight and narrow.
No, I was terrible. But not terrible, but not great. But I mean, considering like I wasn't doing drugs or anything. You know what I mean? But like
there's a fine line.
Yes, so there is a fine line. Yeah. But no, but when I hear those stories of like good
you forget.
people that like were bad or doing, I'm like, they're just kids. They make stupid choices. Cause like you start going down the rabbit hole. Like when Ken got in trouble last week, I was going down the rabbit hole of like, what am I doing wrong? That she is disrespectful and like she's this and like you start like spiraling of like this is a bad person or like not a bad person, but like.
Well, it becomes about you instead of about them too a little. Like mine always does. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Why am I not doing it right? And really, it's a bump.
Yeah, she's a great kid. She just was being an idiot.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm still an idiot.
Totally. And so it's fine.
It's hard. As a mom, I'm always like, okay, something swift and drastic because they're heading down this road.
Yeah, we gotta pivot.
I always think they're heading down the road. Like you're going, you know,
and pregnant and you're on drugs.
Yeah.
Like, next thing I know.
Yes. I know. I do that too. I spiral in that way.
That's funny. I feel like I'm middle of the road with that. But my mom wasn't so crazy about certain things. Like, I don't know. If only she was like that with the food. You know, like she was like, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that. But like with freedoms, she was like way more like lax.
Yeah, you had a lot of freedoms.
I had a lot of freedoms. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, we talked about this before because you worry about that. And I'm like, for my mom, it wasn't even like an option. Right. It was like, that's never going to happen.
Right.
Because they're good kids. Like, but so we talked about this at the funeral. I talked about how crazy my brother and I were growing up, especially me. I was like so bad. Like all the teachers, like everybody, meetings about me all the time. Like, because I was just misunderstood. It wasn't that I was bad.
Yeah.
I have a lot of personality. And it's like my best asset now. Same with my brother. You know, we've had really hard things, like weird things go on. But like my mom never deviated from how great we were.
Right.
Like,
Oh, okay, go in. Go get on the toilet and I'll be right in to wipe you.
Is Isla doing okay?
Yes. Okay, go in. I'll be right in.
are you still addicted to Nutella?
I can't talk. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, it's coming out. But like my mom always just acted like we were always going to be good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
It's
the approach
weird.
I'm taking
That's
now.
probably how you saw yourself.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's how
my
you
dad,
saw
too.
yourself. Like we were talking about the weight loss.
Oh, my mom. My mom is Somalian. So many people are like, hey, is your mom okay?
Yeah, no, it's
So many people ask me that. She's not eating much right now. I mean, but like, who is when you're upset? See, and I eat more when I'm upset. So I'm going the other way. People are like, is she okay? She's eating the house, you know?
No, that's so.
But like, my mom is the opposite. She doesn't have an appetite. She has to cook for one.
Yeah.
It's not eating much. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But when we looked at pictures of my mom through the years, my mom was always, like Jen and I sat and talked about this for like a half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, my mom was always a looker. Like it was always like my pretty mom.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Always like, Sharp's so funny. She goes, I don't know why she was yelling at you about what you ate. Because normally when you're doing that, you're like super fit, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
I
it's
was
all
like, good
well,
point, Jen.
yeah. Well,
you know?
when I was looking at all the pictures, and I was like thinking to myself, like, yes, she's not looking so great in a lot of these, but like in life,
You always saw her.
it was always like so
put together, so
well
pretty.
dressed. Like I never remember her being big.
Me either.
It's so weird.
But it's like how she also, we've said this about you
Projected.
when we've looked at pictures and you're like, I didn't know I was,
Yes.
but like you always wore it as you had it going on.
Yeah.
You know, so people pick up what you throw down.
I know.
And I'm smart. Is that funny? Is that funny? You know
You
what's,
are smart.
You know what's funny is when people talk about Hudson's body and I say, yeah, she takes after her mother, everybody laughs. Is that not true?
Because it's the opposite.
That's
it's not,
so rude.
No, but not,
I'm
she's
like,
tall and lanky.
She's tall and lean, just like her mom.
No. You're so funny.
Everybody does it. I'm like, am I
No,
not?
she's like gonna be 10 feet tall though. Kara Pruitt is like, that's exactly how my body was.
Yeah,
Just like
just-
little tall and skinny.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Until I pretended it was like this and then never got back. But it does identify. So I think that's like the encouraging thing. Is just like, and even if they deviate, it's just like in knowing who
Always
they are.
come back. So always just act like they're just the best. And then even if they, and well, I think this is the thing is, I'm so worried about not letting my kids make a mistake now.
Yes.
That I'm like, if they make one, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
It's better to make them now while they're
And-
protected in your house. Yes.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like a big deal. Like
think
even
it's hard-
stealing the car, like if one of my kids stole the car right now, I would come absolutely unglued.
You would like ship them away.
Like I would.
Oh my gosh, this story though, Jen and I and Monica, and we had, what's that, peppermint schnapps.
Oh gosh.
So literally we could have a DUI. We
Yeah.
didn't know what we were doing. So we had the sip of the peppermint schnapps, nothing I'm proud of. We steal the van. Me, Monica, and Jen, we're all pretty good kids. Mm-hmm. So we're driving it and we get to a 4-way stop. We stop at the light. There's Jen's mom and her boyfriend on their way home. And it was a green van with the big door. Like it's the only van.
It's like such an obvious.
And her face goes, and we go, and
She
so we
saw
like,
you?
yes, so we turn, we park, we jump in, we get in bed like we're sleeping. And she's like, she went off on us.
Yeah.
Like, so then the next day she was on the treadmill and Jen's dad got her a Geo car for when she got her license, which I don't think we had permits. Maybe we did the whole 2 permits equals a license, but I don't think we had permits because we didn't know what we were doing. And her mom's walking, Jen, or gone, till her daddy takes her Geo away. Because she was listening to that song. But what was cool is Carolyn didn't call my parents.
Yeah.
You know, because I was all, shit, Jen, you're in big trouble. You know, and like my parents never knew about that.
That's crazy.
Carolyn was cool like that. Like she kept those, and like you do need an ally, like a mom that like you can trust, you know?
Yeah.
But also like I was talking to a mom
But I also want to know, like if
this weekend that knew that they grew up together, like our kids did.
Yeah.
And in high school, the daughter, this is something, reader, listeners, would you tell this?
Yeah.
I'm curious. So she knew from her daughter, because her daughter tells her a lot, that her friend, say, Kennedy, was going somewhere and putting her phone where she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Leaving it in a bush and then going off with the boyfriend that she was not allowed to be around because he was not a good influence.
Yeah.
So they would bring the phone to the location she was supposed to be at, drop it in a bush, so that on Life 360, everything looked good. But really, she would go off with the boyfriend for a few hours, come back at her phone, and then go home. And so what the mom was like, this is my best friend. And if something were to happen, and I didn't tell her that this was happening, I would forever regret it. But the relationship changed with her and the friends because she told her mom.
She told her?
Yeah, she told her. So their relationship changed a bit, and then the two daughters, it changed because she felt like she couldn't trust the friend to not tell her mom. But that's a hard one. That's dangerous.
That's what I mean. Something safety concerned.
That's
but
also,
a
hard one.
Let's go the flip side. Let's say something did happen and then it came out that she knew that was going on. That would have changed the relationship too.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a no-win situation, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, do you want to be friends with someone who's asking that of you too?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like that. I don't know.
Or can't know that you're coming from a place of love when you tell.
Yeah, exactly.
I know if you told me anything about Kennedy, you're not doing it to get Kennedy in trouble. You're concerned.
Protecting. Yeah.
But I think I saw this one thing and it was kids need some privacy. And I do think that there's just a point when you're just kind of weird when you're growing up.
Yeah, so weird. I used to make out with the mirror. To see what it would look like. I was all, here it comes.
Yeah, I'd go in my room for hours and just be like, hey, in the mirror and talk to myself. You're making out with it.
I feel like Kennedy would do that.
Yeah, no, I think she does because I heard her in her room one day. I'm like, she on the phone, and she was just in the shower, and I was like, hello. But no,
they are weird.
I used to talk in the mirror, and I'd be like, what do you mean? Yeah, and I'd be like, I'd almost act. It was weird though.
You did want to be an actress.
I did.
No, there is weird things.
But no, and so I think you're just kind of weird sometimes. And when you go through different things, you're just weird. And I do think there is an element of privacy and making mistakes that is not allowed now. And what I liked about
because they're so tracked.
Yes.
They're so tracked.
And what I liked about our parents' generation is no one really cared what their friends were doing with their kids. If you were a weirdo, your parents didn't care. Yeah. My parents didn't care if I was happy. They didn't care if I was sad. Yeah. They didn't care if I was throwing a fit because they weren't comparing me to their friends' kids because there was no Instagram. Yeah. Or you know what I mean? So, they didn't care that I wasn't achieving this because no one was posting about their kids achieving this.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was less pressure as a kid to be perfect because my parents didn't so it's good and bad. Yeah. But nowadays I feel like we're so if your kid's doing anything weird, it's well, no one else's kid's doing this.
Yeah.
And so you're
it's a shame.
Yes, so you're so
shame
I don't want him to make a
thing.
mistake because everyone's gonna know. It's weird, you know?
Yeah. Shame is bad. I was just gonna ask after you stole the car or when you do something wrong, did that shame I feel like shame is a downward spiral, and that's the important thing too, is to not let kids own that too much. We all make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. I make a mistake every single day.
Yeah.
But shame is the devil taking over your mind. Once you have guilt and shame, then you're submissive to that.
Yeah.
And you're just keep going because I already screwed up. It's if you eat bad for the day. You're well, I ruined the day. I'll just keep eating bad.
Yeah.
And that's
every day for me.
That's kind of what happens with kids though. I think the first time I drank, the guilt and shame was so big because I was a Christian and I was what I was supposed to. And I that's who I was.
Yeah.
It's the good girl. And then all of a sudden I was identifying as I drank. I was drunk. What are people going to think?
Yeah.
But luckily I didn't have social media. Oh my God, in college I would have been out. Not posting at people's houses when they wouldn't open the door for me.
I know. It's a lot of pressure for the kids.
It is a lot. I even feel with my kids, sometimes I'm hard on them about their attitude. Kyle's they're skiing today and Maddie has a bad attitude. I'm I have a bad attitude today. I woke up early to work out and I didn't work out because I just felt laying there. Totally. A little sulking. And I'm in a little sulking right now. And then I'm am I allowed to sulk any longer? Because it's been a month. I don't know. There's all the, I have them too. I'm I should work out, but I'm I just want to sit here for a minute. I have a busy day. I just need a minute.
Yeah.
But then it's how long is that allowed to go on? Because our society is very focused on going and getting, which I love. But so many things aren't in the get. My dad wasn't so worried about that.
No.
My mom's not worried. They're worried about moments more than getting.
Well, Well, it's almost like the endless
Achievement.
possibilities make it overwhelming.
That's like Netflix.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't look at Netflix. There's too many options.
Like, just give me 3. And I'm
Yeah, like ABC. You can watch ABC or Channel 10 or 12 and decide what you like.
So Brene Brown's big on the shame thing, and she talks about how it's the fear of not being worthy of connection and belonging. And I think that's such a good definition, because it's like, as an adult you feel it, but think of that as a kid when you're like
trying to find your way.
Figure out who you are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Now I'm feeling bad. Like, do I shame my kids? You know?
Well, this is what this is about today.
Yeah.
It's an intervention.
Yeah.
A shame intervention.
We brought you here today to discuss.
No, I don't think that. I just think sometimes, like even like Maddie, you know, grouchy today. She's having a bad day. Why can't she have a bad day?
Right.
That's why I let my kids have a personal day. I need a personal day sometimes. They get one a year. It's a day they just feel like, today, Mom, I need a day. And I'm like, yeah, at work, you have to learn to manage that day. Do you need a personal day? Are you taking sick? Are you taking the day off? You got to just have a day where you're not okay. And there's like a fine line.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't matter. Like, why, who cares if, like, I feel like no one cared if I was upset my whole growing up. Like, it's pretty funny. Like, I was all, you know, and they're all, okay, see ya, you know, like,
no one
but it was like really good, because it like makes you like self-regulate your own feelings, because you're not like getting the attention. But now it's like, so like, you know, it's like, if your kid's unhappy, who cares? You
Question, and I'm not trying to be obsessed, but do you think Julia cares if her kids are unhappy? I don't picture her too worried about it. Like, okay, let's move on.
I feel like she's more like, you're fine, than, I feel like Jeff's more worried if they're happy. Don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think she's, again, I think it comes back to the confidence. Like, she knows they have what they need.
Right.
If they don't, so if they're not happy, she's not worried about it.
Yeah.
Being from like,
and maybe she
like
knows.
like a true thing. It's
This
like,
is like,
no, you're just having a moment.
The title of this podcast should be I'm Obsessed with Julia.
Yeah, it should be.
But another thing I think she knows is, because of her successes and in the coaching mindset that I'm in lately, like sometimes people don't understand that anything great is on the outside of a very hard time. Like, even at the gym, I don't wake up at 5 a.m. like you do, Dana, 3 days a week.
I know.
But there's so much confidence and growth that comes from that accomplishment to start your day. There's so much discipline in waking up that early. There's so much discipline, and that's the first thing you do in your day. And then so many good things come from that decision. Sometimes we forget that just because something's hard doesn't mean it's not right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, anything good happens after hardship. Why I shouldn't quit my job. But like, anything good happens after adversity. But if you think of Julia's day, she always works out, she eats disciplined, she coaches disciplined. So in spite of discipline, it's like, this is what the road is.
Right.
The road is bumpy. So buckle up. Let's go for a ride. All right, let's sum it up then. So Teisha had a lot of shame in college because of the things she'd do in the bedroom.
So dumb. No, cut that. No.
Come on. We gotta have something humorous in here.
I know, we didn't have any humor today, huh?
It's fine. I don't care. So anyways, parenting, moments. I feel like moments are really something we've learned, and hardship is good.
Mm-hmm.
Even me. I'm still in a little bit of a funk.
We discussed your dad's service.
So I'm okay.
How nice it was.
It was very nice. Also the people. It's like, seeing all those people, I was like, gosh, I need to make more time for these things. And the legacy word, if I were to take one thing out, it's the legacy we leave. Not what we do, like you said about my dad. It's not what he did, it's not what he bought, it's not what he had. It's just like what he did for others around him. That's what really mattered in his life. So, you know.
I could
what
be
are
better
you
at that.
doing? I don't think so. I think you're very encouraging.
Oh, thanks.
But I think it's like so many of the things that we stress about comes from money and things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's hard. Yeah. So not saying to go gamble all your money away like I did on the cruise, but it's also to not let it control you, because sometimes his blessings aren't through those things.
Yeah.
Totally.
But we're
started
so
watching
focused on
Southern Charm. Does Dana watch it?
Best show ever.
Yeah,
Skims.
I started. I'm on season
Southern
2,
Charm.
like halfway through
It's the best show ever, is it not? It's like
really
so
good.
good.
It's
I'm
so
listening to
good.
the Paris memoir because of our last one.
Oh, was it good?
It's,
Different.
I'm like on the fence. I don't know how to feel.
It's intriguing to me. Not that it's like, she's intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Her life is intriguing to me. Not that I'm pro Paris.
You want to like know more about it.
Yeah, like it's just so different than like Kardashians or us.
Yeah.
It's just intriguing. Like why she is, yes. And this wild, yes.
Really?
Yes. So that's what the word is. It's intriguing
Yeah.
to me. How she is, why she is how she is, and like what she came from.
Yeah.
And like what that world is like.
And when they're like in the beginning, she describes ADD or ADHD, and the way she puts it, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And she talks about like for her brain, not being busy she would create things, and it made me think of you.
Very that way.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm intrigued about with her too. She does lean into her ADHD and that stuff, not in a like dumb way, in a like, this is how I am. This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is how it works. And that's just, she's not trying to fit in a box.
Yeah.
And I love that. I like that about you. I'm like so encouraged by people that don't fit in the box. I think I've never really fit in the box, but I've always been like so, like, I wonder what it's like in the box because I was always so outside of it, you know? I never was the kid that was in the cool things. I was like the weirdo.
Well, and the love and acceptance of others is very important to you.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but it makes it hard to be out of the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. I was all, oh, wow.
All right. Anyways, so speaking of box, I did think about that for a second though.
What, the box?
I got you.
I know, Dana knows.
Like Crystal's box.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
Paris.
There's been a lot of things in that box.
Things isn't the word.
A lot of people in that box.
Yeah. Not a lot, but there's been a few.
That box is a revolving door. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Oh, that's funny. If you're really struggling, please reach out to a qualified professional, because that's not us,
We're just here to share our journey
and to make you laugh
and cry
and pick your nose.
and touch your boobs.